Thank you very much. That's fantastic. I love having the spot after the break because it's always so hard to get everybody back in the room and settled in, but this is pretty good. So my name is Kiran Gandhi, and I am going to be speaking about branding today and reinventing yourself as a brand. This is something that I've had to do, and just a little bit about my experiences within doing that and some of the challenges and how we overcame them, and hopefully you'll find that useful. Just a little bit about myself. So I started in the industry just by joining a real estate brokerage on the training side, marketing side. Then I got myself a license because I'm like, I can make more money selling real estate, so why don't I just get my license? So I got myself licensed, sold for a little bit, and then I got recruited by Remax head office for doing trainings again. And then it was last year that I decided that I wanted to go back to sales and just kind of explore that area a little bit more. I'm going to be talking about branding, as I said earlier. So one question I'm going to throw at the audience right now is, what is a brand? So when I say a brand in our profession, what does that mean to you? What comes to mind when I say the word brand? Just any keywords, anything that you could just share with me right now. What sets you apart? Definitely, yes. I heard something over here. McDonald's. No, absolutely. McDonald's. It's amazing that you said that because they're just such a powerful brand that when you think of branding on brands, McDonald's comes to mind for you. Anything else at all? Sorry? Consistent experience. I absolutely love that because that's what I'm going to be speaking about in a little bit as well. So consistent experience is very important. The reason I asked that question at the beginning is because when I say brand, a lot of people think of logos and kind of colors and kind of the pictures that they have and, you know, the designs that they have. And that's what comes to mind for a lot of people when it comes to branding. But it is a lot more than that. And here, McDonald's right here. These are some of the examples of big brands that have done a really, really good job at delivering their brand value to consumers, and they stand out. Now, I'm going to share a story with you about Starbucks and their branding and how powerful it is. So I have a niece who's just turned 12 years old. In her school, Starbucks is the cool thing, because that's just how amazing their branding is. And it's when I went to her house and I saw she had the paper cup, the plastic cup, the paper coffee cup with her name written on it. She had like a couple of them stored away. And I'm like, why are you keeping this? You know they have the disposable one, like they have the proper mugs that I can buy you, the Starbucks ones if you want one. She's like, no. This is the real cool thing in our school. Like everybody's running around with these paper cups, the Starbucks paper cups that have their names on them. And that's the cool thing amongst 12-year-olds. So it just goes to show how powerful branding can be from such an early age as well. We pick up on these things. And they've obviously done an amazing job. Tim Hortons isn't cool, but Starbucks is cool amongst 12-year-olds. So that's really interesting. Apple's another brand that stands out to me because it makes me feel, when I'm an Apple user, that I'm more tech savvy and cooler than anybody that doesn't use Apple. It's probably far from the truth, but that's how Apple makes me feel because that's how they have delivered their brand value. And I think that that's pretty amazing. So this is my partner's logo. I started with him last year and we decided that we were going to build a brand together. And he approached me and this is what he had, a logo that looks a little bit like a duckling and his name beneath it. Now, he's been in the industry for about 10 years now, done extremely well, but he just didn't know what his brand really was, aside from having this logo. And it was then that we actually sat down and figured out how to really narrow it down to target a specific market or create and develop this brand together, which really reflects the business that he has mostly been doing. Because what started happening was he wasn't sure about really what his brand is. He's done well in real estate. He is with a higher, like we are under a banner, like we have a brokerage that we're affiliated to, but really what is his brand? What is his business? What is it? Where is the consistency? What is it that he's really doing? So, and building that business and that brand together. So this is what we figured out we had to do, because if he didn't do it at that point, people had their own perceptions of what his brand was or what his business was. So it's like, I don't want other people to define me. I want to define my own brand, and I want to showcase that to people. And that's how I want people to perceive me, as opposed to people just drawing their own conclusions, because I'm not defining my own brand. So this is where we're at today. It's more than just a logo. We're Milton Real Estate Group. We're far from perfect, but we've made a lot of progress with this brand. It took us a lot of hours of not just coming up with the logo, but really the experience behind it, the knowledge that we bring to the table, and a lot of other things that come with Milton Real Estate Group. So like I said, a brand is not just a logo, it's how your customers experience your business. And that doesn't just happen by fluke. You have to actually sit down and define what that customer experience is going to be. Because if that doesn't happen, then people don't remember you. They don't recognize you, because there's absolutely no consistency in what you're doing. So that's what my partner Gordy was figuring out was happening to him, because there was just no consistency in what he was doing. People were not recognizing him as much, or there was just no, they weren't remembering him for the right things sometimes. And it also promotes that recognition, like I said, but it also motivates your team. If you have a team, if you're working with an admin even, or if there's a couple of you that are working together, if you have a brand that you're creating and there's a culture in that brand, there are certain values in your brand that you believe in, it motivates everybody, because it gives them something to really look forward to and abide by almost. And it creates that whole experience. I mean, I refer to Disneyland when it comes to that. Some of the best brand experiences have been there. Anybody that's been to Disneyland, like from the person who's sweeping the floors to the highest level person, you get the same experience with everybody. It's so consistent the way that they deliver that experience to the consumers. So really, that's something that we're striving for with our brand, Milton Real Estate Group. And the goal for us was to have people recognize our listing by walking into it. So when they walk into a listing that we have, that's Milton Real Estate Group, they should feel that it's our listing. They should know that it's our listing. And I'll kind of add a little bit more about what we did to achieve that. And really, that's the value that we're bringing to the table for consumers as well, and how we connect with them emotionally. Now, like I said, it's a plan and a process that comes with this. When I say your own brand in real estate, I mean, you can build it around a niche in terms of a geographic area, or maybe it's an interest that you have that you'd like to connect with people who are on the same interest level as you, or perhaps it's a certain expertise that you have. Maybe it's investment properties, maybe it's luxury, whatever the case may be. But if you have a niche and you can create your brand around it, then the next thing you're going to do is just really figure out, like just sit down and brainstorm everything that that you need to create your brand. So your story, your vision, your statement, what your beliefs are, what services you're offering, what your experiences that you're bringing to the table, and the knowledge, which is really key. And we heard that in the consumer panel earlier on as well. The knowledge that we bring to the table seems to be absolutely crucial to consumers. So we did a lot of that, and being specific was extremely important to us. Now, Gordy has been in the business for 10 years, longer than me. And he has experience, he's got experience in the downtown core, he's got some experience in Mississauga, but most of his business has been in Milton. Now, that's not to say that if he got a client tomorrow that wants to list a home in Mississauga, he couldn't do it. He could do it, absolutely. But what we had to start doing in order to really create this brand is to start saying no to people. Is to really start saying, we're going to refer you out because we are Milton, because that's where our market is. But what we started seeing happen was that by saying no to a few people, we were gaining a lot more people, because we were being specific, we were being true to our brand, which is Milton Real Estate Group, and we do not want to venture out. Like I said, not that we couldn't, and it was hard at the beginning too, because it's like, well, should we not? It's just like, it's 20 minutes that way. But no, we had to start saying no. And we tried to kind of do shortcuts around it at the beginning at our open houses? Should we have some should we have some relocation stuff? Should we have something should we make another Mississauga real estate? We're not going to do anything like that. We're going to stick to what we're doing here. But this is how we started, because we didn't have a focus when we began. We were complete real estate solution because that's what we thought we wanted to be, and we started with this logo, had it beautifully designed, and we also wanted to do a lot of work with videos in our marketing, so we had another logo. But what started happening was we started to confuse people. People were so confused as to, hold on a minute, okay, so you guys are with Remax, but you're also complete real estate solution, but you're Milton Lifestyle, but what is going on? Who are you? What is it that you really do? So we're scrap everything and let's just really focus and hone in on our focus and narrow this whole thing down, because that way we're going to do more volume. And we did, because we started to make a lot of noise in Milton with what we were doing with our brand and the branding strategies that we have. Like I said, planning is extremely important. It's just like building a business plan. You're doing that with your brand. So really thinking about, what is it that I want to achieve? What's the timeline here? That's extremely important, because we got lost in this logo isn't pretty and that logo isn't pretty and this slogan and that slogan and this picture and that picture, that we weren't paying attention to the right things. So we had to start setting timelines. No, we have to have this achieved by this date and this date. Roles and responsibilities. So we split the roles and responsibilities because, again, we figured that if we don't, in order to give our customers the same consistent experience every single time, we have to know who's doing what. There shouldn't be a, hey, did you deliver the lockbox? Hey, did you put up the sign? Did you call this person? Did you call that person? Did you pick up the flyers? Did you not? So none of that should happen. And we found that because we didn't have our systems in place, which is the next thing I talk about, we were just lost. And we could have probably done more business, because it was just the two of us, if we had the systems in place from the beginning. We built them as we went along, because we figured that if we didn't have our systems, we wouldn't be able to survive. The brand won't be able to survive. And now our systems are literally as thorough can be. And honestly speaking, I don't know how many people in this room can say that they have thorough systems for their business, but we literally have master systems for our systems. So you can take the systems that we have and just replicate it in any market, and it's plug and play. And anybody can come on board. I could leave tomorrow, Gordy could leave tomorrow, and the brand could still work, because the systems that we've put in place for our marketing, systems for our buyers, systems for systems, so our admin knows what to do, I know what to do, Gordy knows what to do, a buyer's agent knows what to do. At every single step was the most crucial thing for us when we built our brand. And I talk about that more in my breakout session too. I actually share with you the systems that we've built and the platform that we use and what works for us really, really well. And being authentically you, that was another thing that was really, really important to us. Now, marketing, when we were building our brand, was the key for us to stand out. Because how do we deliver our value? We're in a customer service-based industry. How do we deliver our value to the consumers? How do we convince them that what we're bringing to the table actually is adding value to the whole process and to what we're doing for them? So our marketing was absolutely crucial. We started to doing little notes. So that was just something that we did. We did custom notes in every single room of our listing, with the same design. And I, by the way, design all of my stuff myself, because I am absolutely I'm a control freak, and I don't like other people doing my things, because I'll probably never be happy with what they do. So we started doing these notes in every single room, and people started noticing them. It actually made an impact, because you connect with people who visit the home on an emotional level, because they go into the family room and they read this little note that tells them the story of the homeowners and their experiences and their memories in that room. Instant emotional connection. It kind of brings the place to life. Another thing that was really important for us is so we stage all of our listings, having the same stager, consistency in the staging, same paint color on the walls. I know this sounds really but we literally, anytime we needed to paint a listing, which most of them we would recommend that they do, we'd use the same tone of gray. We'd use the same air freshener because we found one that was just amazing. We used the same air freshener at every single listing. We did neighborhood open houses. So that's another thing we started to do was just so on the weekend before, like the weekend that we have, the weekend that comes after we get the listing, on the Friday we do a neighborhood open house. Now, not to say that people who are in the neighborhood wouldn't attend on the weekend. Yeah, they're gonna come. But this gives us a reason to personally invite the immediate neighborhood, just maybe 100, 200 homes around the listing, personally to this neighborhood open house. And again, that was all our brand. This all comes back to what we want to deliver, what our brand wants to deliver, the customer experience that we want to deliver. And it made a huge difference. On our for sale signs, we didn't want Milton Real Estate Group to be a brand about me or Gordy or anybody else. We wanted Milton Real Estate Group to be about the consumers and their homes. So we put the home pictures from the inside of the home on the for sale sign. Now, initially what happened was with the first few listings, people would get confused. We did get calls from our signs, be like, we saw your for sale sign. There's like pictures on there. Yeah, those are pictures from the inside of the home. That would probably be the only thing that makes sense. But we thought it would be so obvious. Like, yeah, of course people are gonna know what they paid. But then I had to actually add a line, take a peek inside. Like that wasn't there before, like take a sneak peek inside the home. I had to actually add that line in afterwards because it wasn't obvious to people. But nonetheless, after the first couple of listings, we started to get more and more listings in that immediate neighborhood and people would know. They just recognized, okay, this is Milton Real Estate Group, this is what their sign looks like, this is what to expect with their listings. And I mean, just to wrap up marketing, that was really crucial for us, really to have, to really think about what is the experience that we want to deliver, what should the marketing look like, and how do we make sure that we're doing those things in a timely manner? How do we make sure we deliver that? Because having a great plan for your brand is amazing, but like I said, the delivery of it is it literally hinges on the systems that you create and then following those systems. Another couple of things just before I wrap up is your logo. Now, I said at the beginning, your brand is not just your logo, but your logo is still a very important part of your branding. So if you're looking to perhaps create a new logo, if you already have one that you may want to tweak or you're not happy with, it is important that you're very happy with your logo and the simpler you keep it, in my experience, the better, because the more complicated logos are very difficult for people to remember. But it is a visual gateway into your brand. So you want people to see this logo and to think of you. Choice of colors is extremely important when you're looking at logos. We found personally, I wanted pink and this and that, but that's just me being me. And we stuck to very basic neutral colors because we found that those work best in our industry. Like the cooler tones, more neutral tones work the best for real estate. And just one piece of advice I want to give is if you're looking to create a logo, speak to a graphic designer. If you can find a graphic designer who is local that you can actually speak to, communicate with, I would recommend don't cut corners because we tried to and we ended up losing money, not just on that, but on many other things too. We tried to cut corners on our website, we tried to cut corners on a few things, and it didn't work so well for us. But just a couple of things, when you're creating your logo, think about what it is that you want. Do you want an illustrative one, graphic? There's a lot of things that you can do with it. And I'm almost done for time, so I'm gonna speak more about brand awareness in my breakout session. But once you've created this brand and you know what your brand vision is, you know what your customer experience is going to look like, you've got your logo nailed, you have everything that you think you need, now you need to spread the word. I used to do lots and lots of trainings when I was a trainer about how to use social media and you should do this and you should do that. But you know what I found when I went into the field? Is that it's easier to speak about those things, but when you're actually in the business, you don't have a lot of time, and there's a lot of other things that take precedence, and then a lot of these things, they sometimes get neglected, and I'm guilty of that myself. So, and the other thing it can be is a little bit overwhelming at times. can be a little overwhelming with all these channels and all these things that we're being told to do. So really narrow it down to the channels that make sense for you to spread the word for your brand. And what I find is that the visual channels such as Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest that are very visual, because we're a visual industry, work the best for real estate. So, other channels, there's a lot of things out there that you can do, but these, in my opinion, work the best. And your website's obviously very, very important too, and I talk about that in my breakout session. But engaging people, if you're gonna do it, make sure that you're engaged with people. If you're gonna be on social media, make sure you keep your tone consistent. Make sure that you're actually responding to messages when you're getting them, and you're actually interacting with these people, and you're listening to people, and you're posting a variety of content. Some of these things I'll dwell more into in my breakout, but being consistent, and I'm short on time, but I like to end with a statement. We are our own worst critics. So if you're developing something, you're creating this brand, don't be too hard on yourself. So it's okay not to be perfect from the get-go. But if you're, just the fact that you're taking the time to actually think about your business and rethink your strategy and rethink your brand is huge. So you'll perfect it along the way. We're nowhere perfect, but I mean, we're getting there. So that's pretty much it. And if you attend my breakout, along with my systems and some of the social media stuff in my website, I'll also give you insight into some of the tools that we've used to create our brand. So some of the things for the marketing materials or outsourcing for your logo, your website, things like that I'll be speaking about in my breakout session later on today. And thank you so very much. Here's my email if you ever want to get in touch with me. Thank you so much for listening. It's great.